Well, hey everybody, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I hope everything is wonderful with you guys. There's a lot going on our front. I have been swamped, but I'm happy to get back to a normal every day live because we should not have the technical difficulties I had, last week. But
Hopefully everything's working
hopefully.
right now.
yeah, hopefully. The weather, although wasn't very nice very long ago, has been absolutely beautiful. I had the windows open today, which is crazy.
I had the fire going.
Yeah, typically where we live, your coldest spells the last 2 weeks of January and the first 2 weeks of February. And Monday here is going to be 72. Right? Sunday's like 68. I mean, you're talking about
Spring.
incredible weather. Well, but there's dangers that come with that too. I really don't want the fruit trees to say, "Hey, it's time to wake up."
And a lot of the trees are already budding.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff could be worrisome. But anyway,
Which is worrisome, yeah.
Yeah, let's get some hellos in here real quick. Squatchy, welcome in. Good to see you, buddy. Stan Gunther, hello. Scott Horn, how are you, my friend? Greatest name on the internet
Bubble up.
is in the house. Carrie Davis says, "May the sunshine be with all of you." It is today. Dana Green, welcome in. Lisa's here. Good to see you, my friend Nitos. Good to see you. Jane Marie, hello. Kent, what's going on? And yes, it has been beautiful. My buddy Mo's in the house, as is the king himself, Jeff Juicy Hefty Lefty Amazon Mud Dogger Slick Phyllis is in the house. The beautiful Paula and Kent are here. Good to see you. Let's see here. Says, praise our Lord, East Tennessee is expecting pleasant weather all next week. Yeah, we're supposed to get a great week. I'm really looking forward to being outside a little bit. The winter is the winter, but when the spring and the summer and the fall come, B and I are pretty much outside the whole time.
Yes.
We come in to eat and sleep.
Getting our vitamin D.
Right. Let's see here. Silver Lining. What's up, buddy?
Hello.
Yeah, I just traded a couple text messages with you not long ago. Sharpshooter, how are you? Good to see you. I'll keep going as people come in, but B, what you got to talk about today? Probably a lot of things, huh?
Yep. Well, we had Groundhog Day, right?
Yep.
It was Monday.
Yep.
He said 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah, and then
I don't know if I believe all that, though.
How could you believe any of it?
Especially since
we got almost summer-like weather coming the next week. But he just forgot that 6 weeks. Must be 6 weeks after that.
Yeah. Can't we? Our weatherman can't get it right.
No, I want that job.
So I dealt with the groundhog hand too.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I spent the majority of my week with your mom.
Yeah, that's good. Good for you.
I was there for. I was there 4 times this week actually. I had to go to the bank and I had to actually for the first time had to get her a cat license.
Oh yeah, tell that story. So the closest town of any, the closest town at the size big enough to have a Walmart, is not super, super far from us. And they just instituted a new rule that you have to come get a permit to have a cat. A pet, any pet.
Yeah. And so I had to go and go to the vet and get a letter from the vet saying that this cat has all of its shots and everything and what kind it was and how old it was and all of this information and take it to the city and prove the statistics of this cat and give them money so that they can give me a metal tag. And then I had to take it back to your mom.
Yeah.
And put it on the cat.
Yeah. So now we have cat tax.
Yeah, that's crap. Yeah. And then she called me over. She had some tape on her window that I had to help her get off. And there's that tarp that's out the back of her house that is bothering her to no end. So I have been there several times helping her with this tarp.
Yeah. My mom don't get around very good.
It's
So.
Yeah, it's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, for sure. Hey,
So, she ended up giving her car away.
Real quick, I want to invite Indiana Mike in. Good to see you, buddy. Dana Green, hello. Terminator, good to see you. She said it's down to minus 34 where they're at. No thanks.
What's the cold going to be tonight? Do you know?
Hold on. Ryan Matador, welcome in, bud. Good to see you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, hello, Ryan.
If I don't keep up on them, they go by me, and then.
Yeah. Do you know what the cold is going to be tonight?
I have no idea.
What else?
Hey,
Well,
welcome in, Jamie. Go ahead.
otherwise, I've been outside of normal, dishes and laundry and ironing and chores and stuff. But I got pod 4.
Tell them your story about getting to a yellow day, that we finally reached a yellow day. So,
I did say yellow day.
so crazy.
Um,
You guys know before, when I'm an old solar system, we had green days, yellow days, and red days. So a red day, you're barely doing anything, minimal, you know.
oh yeah, you have a light or two on.
Right,
That's about
maybe
it.
a TV, that's it. And
Oh, yeah.
on a yellow day, you're doing a few more things, but you're not
Mhm.
ironing, you're not doing the heavy
So
energy
you're not
stuff.
running the Instapot.
Yeah, you're not doing any of that kind of stuff. And then on a green day, you're doing everything. So she says to me the other day,
Yeah, well, we found out when it got to be under freezing, so below 32 degrees, our system, our solar system, isn't work as efficient as
Well, it's because it's
as
got
the
a safe-
old system did.
well, no, it actually works more efficient, not less.
Well, our old system didn't have the charging issues, I don't think.
No, that wasn't an issue. There's a safety in the system that doesn't allow it to charge when it gets too cold, which
Yeah.
prolongs the life of your battery.
We
The
had
old system didn't have that.
we had full sun, and I'm bringing in like 900 watts, and I'm all day long. I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? We have full sun. I had like plans. I had things I needed to do. And I think I wanted to iron. I needed to iron for you to have a dress clothes. And even you were like looking at the system and you were
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm dumbfounded.
Mm-hmm.
Don't understand.
Yeah, it was the
And
safety.
then Gypsy comes over and I was like, man, look at my system. It's pulling in. This is what it's making and this. And he was like, oh, well, look at mine. Because he has like the same system. And he's like, oh, look at mine. This is what I'm pulling in. This is what we used. And this is this. And I'm like, well, look at mine. Why is this and this and this? And he's like, well, that's because of the safety mechanism there. What kind of batteries are they? Lithium.
Mhm.
He said the lithium batteries have a safety mechanism to where if it's freezing, like they don't take a charge like they
well.
would if
Yeah.
if it was 40 degrees. And I was like, what? So why didn't we have that problem before? Well, the system before produced heat, and the system here doesn't produce as much heat, and so it's colder in that room, basically.
Mhm.
And so even on a sunny day, clear skies, under freezing, we are not charging
As much.
as high as
Okay, real quick.
we should.
Thistle Creek, welcome in. Fear Not Farm, welcome in. Mary Michelle, welcome in. But why don't you get back to the story, which is the yellow day?
So I'm like, oh my gosh, we have got like
Lego.
we have got we've had our first yellow day. Like if it's below freezing, we need to watch our usage, because if we are not gaining anything that whole day or 2 days or 3 days or whatever it is you're using, but you're not gaining.
So
on
you-
average,
you
we're
just-
using about 10%
You decided it was a yellow day because of what?
because it wasn't charging because we were pulling in 900 watts.
Okay. I'm trying to get her to get to a point which she's not getting to, so I'm going to help her out.
Mm.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
So B says we have a yellow day because our batteries are 50%. But what she didn't mention or
Yeah.
didn't think about or didn't consider is with the one switch of one lever out in the powerhouse, she picks up the whole other system.
I didn't know.
Which
that
was-
not what I was talking about.
So she got down to 50%
On the
of,
first
of
system.
half the system. So she was still at 75%. How do you for any of you guys out there that has a spouse who's energy particular, I was trying to think of the right word to use. How do you get them trained to understand that they have so much more power than they use? Like way more power. We weren't even close to a yellow day. We were
did
2
not-
weeks from a yellow day.
I didn't even do dishes that day. I was like, oh, I don't want to run the pump. I don't want to run the water heater. I don't want to run all this extra stuff.
I spent all this time, energy. All my buddies came over to help to bring all this massive power, 108 kilowatt hours to the house. And at 75%, my
it.
wife goes into shutdown mode.
I wasn't considering changing it over to the other system. I was just talking about the one system.
Now, Carrie, I don't know if you noticed, I was trying to use my words
Mhm.
carefully right there. I was aware that I should use them. Mo wants to know if I use a propane heat in that room. I do not.
No, but I was like, what can we do? So what are the options in there? If because the room is tiny, it's like 6 by 4.
Yeah, I don't need a heater most of the time. And we
And
had that one day where it got too cold and it just said, I'm not going to do it because it's got that safety thing in it. But 2 days.
it was 2 days.
My point was still the same. She had more power and
And
she knew
so
what to do
it,
with.
well, okay, so we were at like 57%, and then we had 2 days of,
So almost 60%.
yeah, so, and we're using about 10% every day.
10% of
so-
half the system, keep in mind. So it's really
So-
like 5%.
So
Go ahead.
You know, because if we're at 57, then 47, then 37, at 20%, it shuts off.
And you have a whole nother system.
Yeah, I know.
No, you don't know. How do you know?
And you said like we can just go switch. Do you want me to go switch it over? And I'm like, no, let's just wait it out.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Pack Rat, welcome in. And No Live is complete.
Without a pack.
That's
rat.
right. Says a whole lot of people in Nashville, Tennessee learned they could not rely on the grid, nor various authorities in government and elsewhere to restore it to keep them warm. I think this is a lesson everyone should be learning. And I've been saving it for years right here on this live. Energy is going to become the number one thing. It's going to become harder and harder and harder and harder with every AI center that comes online, with all of those things going on, with the cost, with inflation, with all of that. Energy is absolutely where it's at. And I would address it however you can address it, I would absolutely address it. Fear Not Farm said, how much did your system cost to have that much battery on standby? So basically, I had a whole Schneider system for my house that I originally paid $53,000 for. But it had gotten old. It's not real old, but we had a battery meltdown on one of them. And as I started looking at what my options were, we decided to go ahead and move to a grid down system because, well, I own it and that made sense. But prior to that, I'd already put a grid down system in the community building. And so what we did is we trenched that power from the community building up to the house so that when I flipped the switch to take the old system out and put a new system in, we still had power because that can take days to complete that process.
Yeah.
So I ran it basically to a transfer switch. So that was one 56 kilowatt hour system. Then I purchased another 56 kilowatt hour system to go in the house. And I have about the same amount of money in the two systems that I originally had in the one system. But now that gives her, she went from 38 kilowatt hours to 108 kilowatt hours, which is a whole bunch. And I think,
It is a difference.
yeah.
And thank God that he did trench the power in from the community building, because when we did get the new system up, when you put it up, there was something wrong with one of the inverters, and you ended up having to call in
Yep.
another inverter. So it actually took another couple of days
Yeah.
to get all that figured out. So it was very nice to have that power on standby.
Start a dope, welcome in. I think Indiana Mike has it perfect. 2 is 1 and 75% is none.
See, he understands.
See, he understands. He's really quite the sensitive guy, you know. Packrat says, a friend of mine just got power restored today. He's not the last one in the city either. Let's see here. Mo says the safety is 30 DF for the battery location.
Degrees Fahrenheit location, the safety.
Yeah, I don't know what the safety's at. It would be good to know that though. Let me see.
Probably. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, Jamie said water along with energy. The reason why I put energy above water, you can live a long time without energy. You can't live a long time without water. You know, and this is the argument that people make. But I'm going to tell you something, that with energy, you're not doing everything with your back. And, you know, energy is a force multiplier. And so I can move the water with energy. Right? Well, you say it differently. I can choose which energy to move the water. Right? I can use a hand pump. I can use this energy in my shoulder. Right? I mean, there's those things you can do. But with energy, I think it makes your day-to-day life just so much better and so much easier. So I personally would put energy above water. I would put... and actually, it's another interesting thing on that too, is that knowledge is in there somewhere too, right? So maybe knowledge, energy, and water. I don't know. This has been a conversation Mo and I've had a couple
You
times.
start it somewhere.
Yeah, energy though, I would put clean at the top. Fear Not Farm says, I'll tell you why I'm about to invest in a solar system because I'm tired of my lights flickering every half hour, almost exactly every half hour. Yeah, the grid, which I know a whole bunch about, I've spent a lot of time in this, is super strained and it's old, and they just keep adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. And Trump just said this week that in order to meet the AI demands, they're going to have to double the energy usage currently. So the AI centers are going to use as much energy as all of us people combined. So they better really start getting to some infrastructure, because if they don't, they're going to get it and we're not going to get it, which is again a reason why you go take and put energy into your own hands. And so I would encourage everybody to do it. It's I know it's cost up front. I know all of that stuff. Doing it yourself will save you a ton of money, because labor is about half the cost of it. So if you can put it in yourself, that's incredibly helpful. But I would absolutely find a way to go get some kind of energy independence. Let's see here. Fear Not Farm says, I can also use a carbon filter and drink almost any water if I have to. Yeah. Yeah, water is more important for life, but energy is just a big deal. Jamie says, they say the data centers are going to steal a ton of our water along with intoxicating it, which is why you need water independence as well, right? Let's see here. Mo says energy will likely go brown out before it goes total failure. That's true. They'll absolutely start rationing it. You can have it between. I've got some slides in the slide deck later that talks a little bit about this, of different municipalities saying when you can have it and when you can't have it, when you can have heat and when you can have air conditioning. Just take the power, take it away from them, you guys. Put it in your own hands. I know it's expensive. I'm going to tell you, I would rather have a solar system out there producing all my own energy than I would ever want to have a 401k plan. I would. And I come from that world. Yeah. I would rather have that solar system out there, doing that than to have some health savings account. I would. No, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. Please, consult, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. But here's what I consider with solar is it's not really a long-term energy solution without an efficient grid to supply you the components for it in the event one of them goes down or storm damages. This is a great point. And this is a point Mo has made a million times. You're really just trading one master for the other, right? You're trading the master of the electrical grid for the master of the people who make the inverters, the charge controllers, the batteries, the solar panels. The difference, I think, is that it's a much longer scale Band-Aid. They can't just shut it off. They can wear out, but they can't shut it off. And so I think there's a lot of things you can do. I've got a whole spare inverter sitting on a shelf, right? So there's things that we can do to help, make that longer. Also, getting a system that's got super long warranty in it. One of the things I love about the Grid Down products, they have a 25-year warranty. So can it end? Sure. And at year 25 and 1 day, will the inverters likely fail because of planned obsolescence? Maybe, right? But either way, they can't just shut me down. And we've had all kinds of power outages around me. I've never lost power. So I wouldn't trade it, and that's just absolutely what I would do. Hey, Skanes Girl, welcome in. Citizen broadcasters in the house. Good to see you also. Yeah, Ryan says it really well. It's freedom versus security. Hey, David Strong, welcome in, bud. I think that's right. So anyway, she thought we had a yellow day. We did not have a yellow day.
I thought it was a yellow day.
I don't know.
It was my reason for having a yellow day.
And it's so crazy because I tell her over and over and over again, babe, use the power, use it.
I know.
You've got so
I'm like,
much.
oh, my neck is killing me. And he's like, oh, just you put that massager on it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to use the power. And he's like, why? Yeah. I'm like, we didn't get to 100% today. And he's like, we're at 87.
Right. That's a big
like,
system.
But not 100.
Yeah. I don't know how to train her. Someone needs to help me. Indiana Mike, Mo, one of you studs out there, please come train my wife because I can't do. It's like shooting. They say never teach your wife how to shoot, or wives don't teach your husband how to shoot. It's just a bad idea. Let one of your buddies do it. Let one of your girlfriends do it, because clearly I can't. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Mo says we are all somewhat dependent on the grid. It runs the Walmart and the gas pumps and the banks. 100%. Yep. That's 100% true. Tag here. I was told we would have to have our solar inspected and done with permits. Yeah, there's a lot of places Lucy, that do that now, where you got to have the whole thing inspected. I mean, I don't want to share anything too personal information, but Nidos, where they went through hell getting all of the right check boxes. Yeah, here we don't have to do any of that, but ouch. Hey, Grateful Hearts Ranch, welcome in. Yeah, this is for you. Squatchy says use and learn the limits.
Yep.
She hasn't even gotten close.
Well, it is fairly new. I mean,
Yeah. Baby,
for 10-year city folk.
Babe, but you have to
Don't leave the lights on.
Yeah, just use it. That's what it's there for.
Mhm.
You have so much more power. You can iron any day you want to iron. You may have to switch the systems over if you drain it, but you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? And
I don't want to. I'm trying not to though, right?
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to be
Okay.
flipping back and forth, right? Like, doesn't that take a toll on it or something?
No. And guys, let me explain to you how hard it would be for B to switch the system over. Okay. She has to walk out the back door.
I know.
She has to walk about 40 feet, open a door, walk in that door, grab the big green handle on the wall, and move it to the down position. And what that does is that switches between the two systems.
And it goes really easy too.
That's it. That's all that has to be done to switch between the two systems. There's nothing else left to do. Now, when you turn it from the one solar system to the other, the whole house will lose power, which means your internet's going to have to reboot and all that kind of stuff. But it is literally a big green handle on the wall, and all you have to do is move it. It really is not hard. No.
I didn't want to I don't know.
Nito said, I can attest to the customer service and the helpfulness of the techs to diagnose and walk you through replacing parts they have sent to get the system working. Yeah, I've had really good luck with them. There's some things I wish I would change. I'd love to be able to get the app to be a little more high speed, because I don't think it is, but there's some other things. Yeah, and Indiana Mike has it exactly right. No inspections here yet. Right. Terminator said, I'd rather live the old way. I'm half living that way now and love it. Yeah, Squatchy said it's a learning process and a mindset. Yes, and maybe someday she'll actually use the power, but like it drives me up a
At
wall.
least it's that way and not the opposite, where it's like,
She'll say to me, we'll go upstairs and I'll get ready for bed and I'll turn the TV on. She'll be like, we're at 68% of the battery.
yeah,
I'm
you
like,
just leave the TV on?
No, you're 68% of one battery. No, 68% of one big set of batteries. And 100% in the other big set of batteries. You could turn this TV on for 6 months and it would still be running. Yeah. Grateful Hearts Rant said, oh, wait, I'm hearing a challenge. Try to run them down, B. Yeah, Fear Not Farm says, here, I just do whatever the hell it is I want to do and assume that I'm a free man and I can do what I want to do. Yep. Hey, Jen Botho, welcome in. Good to see you. Silver Lining says, but the green handle's scary.
Yeah, he did. He was like, I want you to come over here and I want you to flip this switch. And I was like, but why don't you just do it? And he goes, I want you to do it. And I pull it down and I'm like, what? That was it? And I expected like some big, like, gotta pull it hard and flip it down. And it just goes, cha-ching, but no, it moves so gently. I was like, did it work? Did I break it? What happened? Did it? And he goes, yeah, it's seated in there.
David Strom, and I think this is really the issue, is breaking the habit of conservation can be a challenge. Yeah. And when we built, this place ran for the first 5 years on a 38 kilowatt hour system, which we had every year had red days, right? And spans of them. I mean, and we would get to a couple spots where there was just no battery life left, through the year. And typically it was in the winter, right around the first of the year is when it would happen to us the most. But again, going from 38 to 108, you got to realize you've got a whole lot more power. You have 3 of the systems we used to have, you now have,
Yeah.
So, Nito said, we're still trying to figure out where the communication error is. We have I don't have any of them on the system at the community building, but up here at the system on the house, sometimes we have it where it will disconnect from the network, and then I got to go hit the reset button and it'll boot back up and everything's fine for a month. And I'm trying to work through that as well.
Maybe you have to like take the panel off in order to hit the reset button. They should have made that easier access.
When you touch the green switch, does it shock the heck out of you? Can you label?
I kind of expected it.
Can you label the green handle that says switch on when it hits 20%? I'm switch it when it's at 50%. I don't care. You know, when you're starting to feel like you got to worry about power, go make the switch. You know, the community building, we only really use it, maybe once a month, you know, or maybe twice a month in a busy month. Depends. Like right now, I've got all the political stuff going on, so it's more, but
yeah.
But typically once or twice a month. So that it just sits there. You might as well use the power, you know?
Yeah, well, the refrigerators are cycling through that power.
Yeah. Squatchy says, I need labels here for the Loper. Hakesroff 54, welcome in. Ryan says, at least she's concerned enough to look. My wife will walk in a room seemingly just to turn on all the lights and leave. Yeah. Not here in my house. People make fun of me all the time. You guys live in the dark? Because if we ain't in the room, the lights are not on.
I know. He's like, as soon as somebody leaves, I start turning lights off. And he's like, let them leave before you start turning lights off. And I'm like, they've already left. And he's like, they're sitting outside. I'm like, they have exited the house. The lights are off. Closed.
Backrat said, it is alleged that the county where my family's land is, population 26,000, is getting interest from the data center people, and the urban zoning codes are setting in on the rural county seats. Guys, this is happening everywhere. Mm-hmm. There are, I don't even know how many counties right now in Kansas that are going through either a solar farm or an AI center or, you know, something, a wind farm, something like that. And the reason why is because, first of all, the data center stuff is all part of the military industrial complex. In order for them to fight that next generation war, they need all of that. And so I think it's a national security issue, which is why they're being pushed so hard. The solar farms, the wind farms, the nuclear power plants, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, according to the Dems, then the Republicans, all of a sudden coal burning power plants are good and so are nuclear. They changed their minds, but and it's all because you got to be able to power them. And their estimates have said they'll need double the power that they currently have, which is probably an underestimate, which probably means they need 2 times more than it already has. And so that's why you're seeing that big push, I think. Squadgy says, does it really hurt to be extra conservative? No, it doesn't really hurt, other than you live when you could just live your life normally. She could wash clothes any day she wants, but yet she saves it for the sunny day when the batteries are at 100%. Now it's okay to do laundry, and then she wonders why she has 12 loads of laundry to do, right? When if you just wash them, it would just be easier.
I just don't want to stress the system.
What do they do on? They do the hand thing. What do they do? What's like that universal sign
Oh,
for?
it's like.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Packrat says, I'm with you, B. Conservation is a good mindset to be in without being miserly. Balances are hard to achieve, ain't they? Yeah, well, I think you have to be able to adapt. I mean, when you have, when you're carrying buckets of water to water your animals,
Yeah.
and then you get a gravity fed system, and then you get a solar powered fed system, you're constantly adapting to what you can do.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's good. But you got to learn it. And, it saddens me. And I say this totally with all due respect, man. It saddens me that we dump more power than we use. That we get all of this power coming in the house, the batteries get filled up. She should be turning everything on. Get all the mini splits on, get all the heaters on, use the power, because it's gone. You're dumping it. So in my opinion, you just might as well use it, G-Dog says, experts are starting to realize the impact on grid of AI versus what solar panels and wind can reliably produce. They need more horsepower. Yeah. And this is why I think you're seeing a lot of the opinions change, out there in the world. The Fear Not Farm says, it's healthier to live as much out of the artificial light as possible, like LED and fluorescence. Yeah. I think vitamin D is an amazing thing. And I think if people would spend their days outside, you'd find a whole lot less sickness. Just simply by being outside all the time. I can't wait to be out there full time again. Today I was standing outside for just a little bit.
It was so nice.
With the sun on my face, with my eyes closed. Like, man, this is life. But anyway, we did not have a yellow day. That was really the moral of the story. B, what else you got?
Working on pod 4.
Squatchy
Did I already
says
say
it's
that?
81 there today.
Yeah.
That's what you've been working on pod 4. You done?
Got the closet painted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on some furniture now. Got lights in. You know, they were hanging down because I was painting the ceiling and such. So got the lights all in, the bars in the closets.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I had to hold it up.
How'd you do that?
Final door got trimmed. What else? Oh, I'm like, do you want me to throw away these boxes to the ceiling fans? Because like one works and one doesn't. Like we got a ceiling fan that like the bum ceiling fan doesn't work. Like I bought it 2 years ago from Amazon. Probably can't send that back. So are we gonna try to get that working? I don't know what we're gonna do. And he's like, I don't even know. I'm like, just left. I think I just like said, hey, this isn't working, and then like went off to do what I was doing. And I came back and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, wiring an outlet. I'm like,
Okay, so let me interpret all of
didn't
this
say
for you.
anything about the outlet, dude.
So she wanted I had already hung the fan, but I couldn't get it to turn on, and so I hadn't had a time to go get a tester and all that stuff because I got on to other things. Well, anyway, I went back to working on it. So I went and got my tester. I got up in there and there was just no power to the fan. So there's nothing wrong with the fan. There's no power. So then I went down to back to the switch and I tested the power there. There's no power there. So I started thinking, okay, why don't I have power? I went to the breaker box. All the lines are hooked up. And so I had one outlet in the whole building that I hadn't had wired yet. And it was up on a wall where you could hang a TV. And so I went up there and tested it. I had live power there, but without it hooked up to an outlet. Had I wired it through that outlet, the fan wouldn't have power. So I said, okay, this would make common sense. Let me just get this one outlet hooked up. And so I hooked the outlet up and the fan works just fine. And off we go. It really wasn't that complicated.
Like, did you get sidetracked?
You want to talk
Yoo-hoo!
about... Yeah.
Ceiling fans over here.
Yeah, I want to talk about getting sidetracked real quick. But David says, what's pod 4? Pod 4 is my master bedroom. So we
next
live,
part of the
yeah,
house.
me and B live in this spare bedroom, and we have for 5 years as we've been building our house because B can't seem to get pod 4 finished. And so, David, me and B have a deal. I'll do all the construction. I do all the electrical, all the insulation. I do all the drywall, all the shiplap, hang all the fans, put all the lights in, all that. Her job is to paint.
Paint.
Caulk and paint. That's her job.
Yeah.
And I did all of those things that we just explained to you. I did in less time than it's taken her to paint it.
Yeah.
So see, she agrees, right? But we're getting very close to actually having the master.
Very, very close.
So I really like that a whole lot. So anyway, I want to get back to what you were saying. This is really important about being distracted. Let me show you guys how this works because it happened. I'm in pod 4, trying to frame out the last door. I've got the last piece of the last door in my hand. All I got to do is cut it, install it, and you know where I'm going to this, don't you? And B comes running in the room and she says, babe, I need firewood.
I said, stop what you were doing. I have asked you 3 times today that I need firewood, and I have, they're empty. Like, I cannot pull any out of anywhere else.
Yeah.
I need you to stop what you were doing and go get firewood.
So.
And he just like tossed this piece of wood, and I'm like, what are you doing?
This is why I get to a spot where there's one piece of trim left to be put on. Right there. So I had to go warm up the skid loader. I went and got 5 crates of wood, delivered them to the back door. The good news is I went back and got that piece of wood and finished putting it up, so it got done. But
yeah.
Let's see here. Hakestraw54 says Missouri Wind and Solar has a huge sale on 500-watt panels for anyone that's interested. $100 each. That's a great deal. Do you know what brand they are? That's a great deal. Panel prices have really come down. I wish I could have lived back 150 years ago when you just lived hard-working survivalist type life and died when you were 60. Laugh out loud. We just live different lives now. Yeah, I really like, though, Fear Not Farms, the combination of doing for yourself and using technology to help you do for yourself. Because there's it just really opens up a lot of windows. I mean, I have all kinds of water sources, which we're going to talk a lot about later tonight. That would be really hard to have without, some level of technology. Mm-hmm. Conserve Friends, welcome in. It says Northern Virginia are building tons of data centers. They just reopened a 3 Mile Island and SE Pennsylvania to power those centers. Now the battle to run power lines through farmland. Oh yeah. Yeah, we have a thing here in Kansas called the is it the Grain Belt Express? I think is what it's called, where they're trying to put some big power lines through Kansas and the people are fighting them. Fear Not Farm says by the time you were 60, you had great grandchildren and you lived a full life.
Mhm.
Yeah. B, sunny days, run the mini splits. This is what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Gypsy. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's smart.
Just run
He's a smart fella.
them. G Dog says 700 billion going into AI this year alone. Hold on to your hats as data centers and GPUs continue to be the rage. Yeah, I agree with this. And I am not going to put the well being of my family in the hands of the system because we're going to be the ones left hanging. And, you know, I'm just not going to do it, you guys. Go find a way to get energy independent. Hey, let me see here. Yep, running the mini split on sunny days would cut down on firewood usage.
Yeah, that's smart. I should do that.
Hey, real quick, make sure I don't know the brand name. Indiana Mike's got a great comment. Ready? You reading it?
Are you gonna read it?
Yeah. Yep. Running a mini split on sunny days will cut down on firewood usage.
Oh, that makes sense. I should do that.
Indiana Mike, you're my buddy. You know that? Help me get the point across. Because I feel like I'm beating my head against a wall when it comes to these issues.
Yep.
Do you feel like that?
No,
No?
I think you're doing a good job,
All
buddy.
right. You got something else you want to talk about, or do you want me to go through some farm pictures?
You know the farm pictures with?
You got it? Okay. Check this out. This is pretty cool. Look at that poor guy's nose. Why don't you tell your story of your nose ring?
Yeah, I didn't. That was just not something that I had expected. These are supposed to help keep the cow. These are
Babies.
I'm trying to wean them, and these are weaners for. They have spikes on them too for when they go to try to nurse. Then Mama doesn't like the spikies on it, and so she's supposed to kick them off. Well, both boys have learned to flip the wiener up, and
Why do you call it a wiener?
it's because it helps them to be weaned.
Oh. Okay. Blah, 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 blah.
And so they flip it up on their nose so that the spiky parts are up against their nose, and then they go ahead and nurse anyway. So I'm gonna have to separate them, but the wieners aren't working anyway because they go in the. I don't know if it's because they're dipping their, it's warm. Their air that they're exhaling is warm, and then they go and they dip this into the water and they drink, and they're nursing, and it's milk and frothy, and then it's both of them had these big chunks of ice on their wieners. So I actually went over to this guy because this is Lady's baby, and he allows me to come up to him.
His name's Tallow.
And so I tried to like pull it off. I tried to, you have to kind of like make it warm and pliable when you go to put it on. So it's freezing. It's got an ice cube on it. I can't make it any warmer. And so I tried to like get his nose off of it. I tried to, it wasn't working. Actually though, Tracy put on Facebook that, you put when I went out the next day, it had already melted. Otherwise, I was going to do what Tracy said and get a bucket of warm water and put molasses in it and give it to him to drink, or both boys to drink, so that when they're dipping their face into the warm water, and it's got molasses in it, so it tastes real nice. And so as they're sitting there drinking it, it's hopefully melting and
Oh, you
getting
guys.
softer and falling off.
You guys could just crack me up.
But I didn't think it was funny. The lady on Facebook said that was a ice cold Red Bull.
Yeah, on the comment on the picture.
Yeah, because I said I had not. This is not something that I had planned. Like I was going to put these on here. I was going to put the wieners on the cows. The cows were going to be weaned. The moms are going to be bred. The bred, they're going to go. By the time they are ready to calf, these babies should be weaned. So when the new babies come, the colostrum should be ready to go for the new babies. Well, they have figured out how to get past that. So I have to take these guys and separate them from their moms totally for a couple of weeks somehow, some way, because this is not working. And
Most
I
of
gotta get it.
when I was in the city, my daughter's friend left lights on her room so her dolls could see. Fear Not Farm says, "Oh, I love the creature comforts, but it's going to screw us over for the next couple of years." I would argue it's only going to screw us over for the next couple of years if we're dependent on the system for the creature comforts. If we can create our own creature comforts, I think we're less vulnerable. Jim Botho says, "A weaker? I love it. I love it." Higgshaw 54 says, fasten a short chain to it. It will solve your problems.
Fasten a short chain?
Yeah, it's a clip chain on it about a foot long.
Why? Why would I do that?
Because then they're not gonna be able to flip it up over their head.
Oh. Let me think about that. So if it's hanging down.
Yeah, work it all through. Do you use your hands? It would help you. Come on, we
Yeah.
want to watch. I think Pack Rat's got it right. He says warm wieners are okay. Cold wieners can be a problem, it seems. Be careful pulling on a frozen wiener.
Yes. Especially, I mean, his nose, it looked like the top of his nose was kind of scuffed up already.
Conserve Fred says, "Poor fellas, chunk of ice on their wieners."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine walking around? That is like right on their nose. So that weight pulling down on your nose like that.
Just what we needed, a big conversation about
Cow wieners.
frozen cow wieners.
Well, I'm, trying to do what's right.
Yeah. So, guys, we got a bunch of snow, which was good. Not a bunch, 6 inches or so.
Yeah.
And this is what we have to deal with when it snows because our only source of power is, of course, solar. And so B goes out there and we've got a big, long painting rod that I put a squeegee on the end. And it works, right?
Yeah. It so far has worked the best.
Yep. And so we
everything
clean
we've
off the
tried.
panels so that it will continue to charge. But it's amazing. I don't know if you guys know this. They charge with the snow on them like this.
Yeah.
They just don't
Not
charge
as
as well,
much.
but they will absolutely charge with the snow on them. And so we've got to clean these off, which would be the priority. But then we also got to go down and clean them off the community building, which isn't as big a priority, but it's still nice to have that backup system. This is the back of the community building, as you can see after the panels are off.
Yeah.
The only reason I put these panels on this roof is because the building's buried into the dirt, and so you can reach it. Right? I wouldn't put them on top of a building if I had to climb up there, in order.
I just used my pole.
Yeah. But imagine if that was a normal 8-foot tall sidewall.
Yeah.
You would never, get up there. Let's see here.
Well, no, you can't. When it's just so tall, you can't see what you're doing up there anyways.
Yeah. This is also the reason why you shouldn't leave baristas out in the winter, in the weather. Starla says, easy remedy, put them in a different pen. Yeah, Fear Not Farm says, we use molasses to keep the water from freezing. 1 cup to 5 gallons works pretty well down to -4. I did not know that. That would be really good to play with. Skanes Girl says, gave me a chance to practice identifying snow prints. Oh, yeah. I love that. I love it when it's all positive like that. This was an interesting picture B sent me today. This is you chopping a hole in the ice, right?
Yeah.
Of the pond, and there's fish.
Frozen in it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, a bluegill.
Yep. Which is so weird.
Yeah, I cracked it open, and this thing. So I try to crack the ice in one big chunk. So I do the if I'm standing on the pond to get the first cut, I do that first, and then I come to the sides and do that, and then across the bottom. So if it breaks into one big chunk, I'll take that and I'll just tuck it under the ice, and then I'll push the whole chunk up underneath the ice so it just floats away, and then I don't have any debris in the hole, because as soon as I leave the hole, the ducks are in the hole. The geese are in the hole. And then I'll go to the next one, because if I only do one hole, then everybody, the turkeys, the chickens, the cows, the goats, everybody's at one hole waiting for the geese to get out. So I started doing 2 holes, and then I learned that the geese take over the first hole, the cows go to the second hole, and then the birds are all standing there. So now I cut 2 holes, and then I cut a little hole for the birds over farther away from the other 2 big holes. So this hole, I cut this big chunk and I tucked it up and pushed it under. And here comes this fish that like floated to the surface. And I went, what is that?
It's fish.
And I took the axe and I pulled it out. I'm like, well, is it alive? I mean, it's frozen. Do I put it back in? If it's dead, I don't want to put it back in. Why? It looked beautiful. There was no damage to it. So I think
And it's awful.
this,
It's awful white.
this, it's because of the picture. It's had a bad day. This pond is probably 12 inches deep.
Oh, no. It's way deeper than that.
What is it?
6 feet.
You think it's
In the
that
center?
much?
Mhm.
That would like take the cows. The cows go in the center of it.
Yeah, the cows swim out in there, babe.
They're not swimming.
Oh, yes, they swim. I have watched
I think they're
Moo.
standing.
I've watched all the other cows stand kind of at the edge to their chest, but I've watched Moo go all the way across it.
I thought she was walking.
No, she wouldn't be able to touch in the center. Where am I at here? Jamie wants to know if you've tried to melt the snow to see if it burns or melts. Oh, here we go. You were just talking about the snow. Why don't you tell me?
No, I was just talking that Billy Bond had said that it was kind of not just, water. But yeah, I was thinking that it was different. The snow was different.
Yeah, G-Dog wants to know, thought about ropes to break up the snow surface tension. How about you dip some alcohol at the top of the solar panel? Alcohol melts the snow as gravity works. I don't know what alcohol would do to the panels. I'm very reluctant to put any kind of soap on them or anything on them.
We haven't put anything
Yeah,
on
we
it.
just wash them. Just let the rain wash them off. Clean. If I had to clean them, I'd clean them probably with just water. But I don't know. I've never looked at what alcohol would do to it.
I've gone out there when it was raining with the broom and tried to because I had like a bird poo on there, and I took the broom and moved the poo around to let the rain get it off.
Yeah.
And then you could see like little like scratch looking things because the broom bristles were not like a washcloth, so you could see the like swirls of.
Jamie said the burning of snow thing is dumb. However, I've seen lab tests of snow that show alarming amounts of aluminum, barium, and lead. Yeah, I actually have a slide in my deck tonight if we get to it that talks about that a little bit. And it is, I have firsthand knowledge of this because when we tested our water, our rainwater tested positive for fluoride, and so, which I've yet to have anybody be able to explain to me how fluoride would be naturally in the atmosphere, but anyway, they're definitely spraying stuff up there. Let's see.
Well,
All right.
it's coming down somehow.
Yeah. Well, I should probably done that one first. Look at the goat head.
Oh yeah, see that's
There's
I
your fish.
cut it open and I was like, what is that?
A dead fish and 2 goat heads.
Yeah, because this is their hole.
Yep. Yep. Thought I'd share with you guys real quick that me and Bee have been trying to think about what kind of potatoes to grow. So I did a search of which potatoes would last the longest in storage.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just thought I would share with you guys. That's supposed to say 37 days and counting. I don't know what happened to my 3.
7 days and counting.
37 days till we have to plant potatoes. 37. But anyway, what they basically said is the Burbank Russet, Elba, German Butterball, Katadin, Lehigh, Natasha, Pinto Gold, Purple Viking, Red Chieftain, Red Pontiac, Russian Banana Fingerling, Satina, Strawberry Paw, Yukon Gem, and Yukon Gold would have the longest shelf life because they have thicker skins. And so I just thought I would share this with you guys because we're going to try to grow a big potato crop this year. I think we should all be gardening like it matters. And so we're
And
definitely going
potatoes
to
you can can and they're real nice. You can also, I made hash browns out of them. That
Mhm.
was real cool.
Yeah. And we can dehydrate them. There's a lot of things we can do, but I'm really looking for what would store best in the root cellar for the longest period of time. We're still eating on our sweet potatoes from last year.
Yeah,
And you still got a lot left.
quite a few.
So,
Quite a few.
so we'll definitely grow a lot of both of those. Let's see here. The head of the local homesteaders group posted a Facebook video claiming that this last snow, when set above a flame, reeked of burning plastic. Snowflakes form around the particles in the air, microplastics. I have not tried burning them. I've seen the post a whole bunch of times. B was just making the argument that it just doesn't melt like it used to.
Yeah.
That it just is not the same. And I just laughed at her because I was driving down my muddy driveway. But
Yeah, but it would have been with 6 inches of snow, it would have been a mud hole. And it wasn't.
and you don't think it had anything to do with that? I built the road up with such a base, and my incredible engineering skills and hard work has finally paid off after
I
all these
think
years.
that happens often, but no, there are certain spots of that are just always troublesome.
Well, B sent me this picture. I'm not sure why, but we'll let her
Yeah,
explain it.
because Nikki gave me a jar of cream of anything soup mix because that's something that I had always. I use a lot of cream of this or cream of that in recipes, and so she'd given me a jar that she had made up this book. She got this book, and this was one of the recipes in it, and she had made it and gave me a jar of it, and I have used the majority of the jar already. But this book apparently is a great book to have. I do not have it, but she suggested it.
And you like it?
I really liked the cream of anything soup mix, and I liked how easy it was. Like just this powder that you literally just put in your food.
So anyway,
And it didn't have all the ingredients that the canned stuff has in it.
she wanted to share it with you guys. So
I did. So if
we-
you wanted to get the
we
book,
don't
you
know
can
Mel
too.
Matthews or the book or get anything from it, but Hakestraw 54 says, I noticed last week snow on the sidewalk is not melting the way it should.
Right.
Conserve Friend says, after our recent snow, we noted a white dried residue on the side edges of the boots. Yeah, that'd be interesting to take that residue and have it tested. Right, and figure out what's in it. I would like to.
You're right though. There is a white the boots do have like a white like salt.
You should lick it.
You lick it. I'll put it in your dinner.
Hey, I wanted to give you guys, why is this stuff being cut off
Because
a little bit?
you're
I wonder, can I do it like this? No. What about like this? No. Like this? Like
well,
this?
it's one word that was cut off. One
Yeah, I
letter.
don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to give you guys some closure and something I've been complaining about. So if you guys remember, I told you that my property taxes went from $3,200 to $7,100 this year. And the main reason they said it was because my house was nicer than they thought and that it would appeal to many buyers. And so I went and paid my first set of my taxes, and I filed them what's called paying under protest. And so basically they give you this form and you tell them why they're wrong. And then basically they schedule a hearing. So I went to my hearing and sat down with her, and her basic point was my house is nice and a lot of people would like it, and that the quality they had it rated at, it was of nicer quality, which is what it should have always been up. And it was actually kind of funny to talk about how, well, we're not going back to charge you, we're just making it right, like they're doing me some favor. But anyway, so I went in there with all the reasons why it wasn't true. And so this is what I presented to them. That according to Zillow, the housing market is a $52.14 trillion industry. The off-grid market is a $2.4 billion market. That's 4.6%. Realtor.com said there was 145.3 million homes. 750,000 of those are off-grid. That's 4.9%. So basically 5% of the potential buyers out there would be interested in a home like mine. So her theory that it would be attractive to more people is just simply wrong. I also noted that there was 384 transactions in my county last year. So that would mean that in any given calendar year at the 5%, there would be 15 potential buyers for my home. I went on to tell them that Kansas ranks in the bottom 15 for off-grid living due to taxes, affordability, and economic opportunity. I further told them that my house had no central heat, no central air. We have no public water source. And even if I wanted one, I couldn't get one where I live. I have no traditional stove. We have a wood cook stove, as you guys know, right? Wood cooking. And that the energy company would want to, or could possibly charge me up to $42,000 to bring the power down my driveway. And inform them that it could cost $100,000 just to retrofit my home to make it appealing to the other 85% of the buyers. And so that was the case that I had made to her. And she said, okay, that she would take it all under consideration, which tells you it's completely arbitrary, right? There is no set pattern. It's whatever they think. But they did come back and lower my appraised value almost $80,000. So that's not going to take my taxes back to $3,200, but it ain't going to be $7,100. And what was funny about that, if they send you a letter in the mail and they tell you this, hey, we've lowered your property value such and such amount. Mine was, 77,000 or whatever it was. And if you want to appeal this further, you could take it to the tax board. So, but what they don't tell you is what your taxes are going to you're going to have to pay. They tell you that the appraisal went down. So I'm sure there's a calculation out there you can figure it out. So now I got to go back into the courthouse to figure out what it actually means to me from a dollar thing before I can decide whether or not I want to push it further. But I only bring this up to tell you guys that if you go stand up a little bit, change does get made. I mean, they did lower it $80K, which is a big drop, right? That's a lot of money. I think so. It'll be interesting to see what the number is. And I bet it's going to come out about $5,000, which saves me $2,100 over what they wanted, but still $2,000 more than I was originally paying. Isn't that crazy? To get you excited about paying $2,000 more than what you already paid.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Let's see here. G-Dog says, several years ago, I booked a similar meeting. They updated my similar homes and neighborhood real time after I showed them my printed assessor website on the same data an hour earlier. Weird. Yeah. Due to high taxes, I know people who convert pole sheds and garages into homes. Yeah, I know a lot of people that have done that, but they're starting to crack down on that. And, I've heard them talk many times in the commissioners meetings and the planning meetings and that, how they have to stop. People can't do that. If it's a home, it's a home. Pack Rat says maybe you need to add more auction fines to the yard, appeal to a few less buyers. Now we're talking about it.
No.
I need to add to Sanford Row.
No.
That would solve a lot of problems. Yeah, Indiana Mike said that calculation is easy. Well, I'm sure it is. I just don't know I don't know what it is. I don't know how they do it.
I didn't realize there was a calculation.
Yeah.
I thought it was totally arbitrary.
No, Mo says you just haven't brought enough toxic waste on site yet. That should drive the price down. Yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Assessor's office and flea markets are two of the last places where it's useful and normal to haggle. Yeah. Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
Gary
Come
Nate
on.
said, or we could open a daycare.
Oh my gosh.
I live with B. I already have a daycare.
No, we speak English.
No. But there was something else that came out of it that I found very, very interesting, which was while I was there, I asked the lady who does it, I said, hey, this next year, I want to build a stage out in front of the community building.
Oh no.
Yeah, you'll like this. I said, it's just concrete. I'm going to pour like 8 yards of concrete. So let's do it just so you guys know, for some simple math, a yard of concrete's about 2,000 pounds, right? So 8 yards of concrete, 16,000 pounds, okay, of concrete. And I said, so I'm going to pour this concrete slab out there by the pond so that if I want to have live music, I can have live music. Would you recommend that I get a permit? Just to see what she would say. And she said, because of the floodplain concerns, you should get a permit. Okay. So I started doing I thought, well, that's crazy. Does concrete float? Am I losing my mind? And so I did some Googling, and concrete's generally considered safe to put in a flood zone, especially when properly elevated and flood-proofed. However, it is essential to follow the guidelines of FEMA. So apparently they do make some concrete that has lighter weight stuff in it that could float away, but I'm talking about regular, everyday concrete. So I'm so confused. Can one of you guys help me to understand how a 16,000 pound slab of concrete could float away in a floodplain, even though it wouldn't be in one? That would be just super fascinating to know. But I think they just want their permit fee. What do you think? Yeah, Indiana says your slab might migrate. It might migrate. And if it's going to go anywhere, it's going to slip down into the pond, which is 21 feet deep, right there next to it. They're concerned, or at least if they say they're concerned about, is it floating away and then affecting someone else's property, which wouldn't happen. Because if it floated...
Oh, it's in the low spot.
Babe, if it floated away, it would have to get all the way through the pond, which is 21 feet deep. Then it's going to have to get out of the water, dry off, and climb up over a dam that's 147 feet wide at the bottom. Have you ever seen a concrete
Unless the
float?
water got so fast, so high that it went up and over and then down
Babe,
the ravine and flowed through
it's a
the woods,
16,000-pound piece of concrete. It ain't gonna do that.
flowed through the woods,
You could convince.
down the next 80.
No, it's just this. Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
a lot of water.
That's a lot of concrete.
It'd take a lot of water to push
Yeah.
that kind of concrete.
Let's see here. Common sense isn't loud, right?
That's
Hickshaw said it might go away with a tornado. I doubt it. I doubt it.
I
There's no
doubt
way
it.
for the wind to get up underneath it. I doubt it. Yeah. Let's see here. G-Dog says it's to be very flat and lots of surface area. I just don't see how it would do that. Squatchy says if you get a permit and something negatively happens, it can, you make the city or county liable. Maybe, but whatever is going to happen to, I'm talking about, guys, a solid just concrete pad. There's nothing, steel reinforced concrete pad. It ain't going nowhere. And when I pour it, I'm going to have to drill piers. I'll drill auger holes, you know, with my skid loader so that it doesn't want to shift very much. But either way, I don't see how it's ever going to move. It just makes no sense to me. In the urban district, they are concerned about how much water rolls off an impermeable surface. They are very impressed with permeable pavers. This is a thin excuse to get money and another permit. Yeah. Same as concrete septic tanks, maybe. They can float. Now, see that? I don't see how even that would float. I've known the plastic ones to float. I've never known a concrete one to float up out of the ground with enough water. If it was empty and got enough water, maybe. But this is not an empty square that has that space. They're talking about a flat slab. Yeah. Yeah. Tag Hubby says that's the new math. Yeah. Carrie Davis said, how about add a basketball goal? I could add one, but they still want a permit. It's not taxable, but they want me to come down and get permission and go ask them, may I please have a piece of concrete on my own land? I'll just pour it. But Mo Engineer said, I have had concrete ones float on me. It happens. Under what circumstances does it happen? And then the other thing that I would ask you, Mo, is does it happen with enough regularity that it is worthy of regulating the people? Does it happen so often it needs to be regulated?
Septic tanks.
You know, Mo says
He's
septic
had one
tank.
float on him.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. You know, G-Dog says, Google concrete canoes. Yeah, I can see, like, again, if it had an opening like that, maybe just a big pad, I don't get it. Squatchy says, our city is working on new math and animal numbers, so you have to apply for a permit. Yes, you're going to get a cat permit like we got this week. How much was your permit?
$5.
$5 so that you can have a cat.
Took me $5 to go down there and get the $5 permit.
Hey, Tulip Little Angel, how are you? It says concrete can't float. I have designed many homes in floodplains. Those designs require that your foundation piers be deep enough to sit on packed earth, such as floodwater comes the soil. See number 2. And Lisa says, I heard stories that burial vaults floated in the Louisiana swamp. Yeah, it's just, man.
They did in that Poltergeist movie too.
It just sure seems like they're reaching for reasons to get another permit. Like even if you guys could convince me of a concrete canoe or a vault floating, I don't think it justifies having to go down and pay another fee. I just don't see it. You know, I just do not see it. Anyway, Kansas this week proposed a bill in the Kansas House that aims to eliminate the requirement for residents to renew personal vehicle registrations annually, allowing for a single registration that remains valid for as long as the person would own a car. If passed, this change would reduce annual bureaucracy, but could significantly impact state revenue, which saw over $207 million from vehicle registrations in 2024 alone. Key details of the proposed legislation: the validity. The registration stays with the owner for the life of the vehicle ownership. This applies to personal vehicles, not those owned by a business. New car owners would still pay initial fees, but yearly renewals would cease. The bill has been assigned to the Transportation Committee with no hearing date set as of late January 2026. Concerns have been raised regarding the potential loss of revenue for the state. Now, this makes sense, right? You go, you buy a car, you go license it. That license stays with the car for the length of the time you own the car.
Yeah, I like that.
You know,
Let's do that.
one of the ways, guys, that we can cut down on taxes, you know, like everyone always bitches and moans about taxes, but never has any plan to do it. What percentage of the budget goes to collecting taxes? It might sound like a silly question,
Right.
but just like this, if you only had to renew your plates once in a lifetime, the need you would have for those departments would be a lot less, right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be spending the money. And so I think some of these common sense approaches, I've told our commissioners a million times that we should be able to fill out building permits for whatever we agree a building permit should be on a postcard. The complexity of it, you got to go
Shouldn't
here.
be
You
4
got
pages.
no, and not only that, you shouldn't have to run down to Home Depot or Menards to get an estimate of building material and then run back, and you shouldn't have to go get all of this stuff because it's just more places where the government extracts money from you. And it just should not be this complicated. This makes perfect sense to me. I would love to know what Command Hand thinks about this. And she'll know why I say that, but let's see here. Hakestraw, I love this. Oh, let me go back up real quick. I'll get back to Hakestraw. Tulip says, number 2, the soil will wash away and you'll have a house on piers like at the beach. Yeah, and I would put mine on piers just so it didn't move, but I still don't see it just washing away. Hakestraw says, next thing you will have a permit to apply for a permit. Yep, bureaucracy. Not regulated, just never sets level when it comes down. Bring back the crane. Happened with open holes during construction. Fill it up, and you're fine when it rains. Started Oak says after Katrina, that did happen. All burials are above ground. Yeah, Nito said the same thing. After Hurricane Katrina, burials in New Orleans and the surrounding areas were floating. Excuse me. I think it's an awesome idea, but I'm not convinced they won't give up controls to the funds. I think there's 0 chance this passes. But I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think one of the ways we can cut expenses, and this is something that we need to be talking to our local governments about, one of the ways we can cut expenses is cut down the cost of extraction. Right? And I'll give you an example. The Treasury Department is about collecting taxes. The permitting department issues a permit, charges a fee, right? That's about collecting taxes.
Yeah.
Right? The county clerks, I mean, it's all just tax generation, right? And so I'd be willing to bet you, and I don't know the number, but willing to bet you that of any given county out there that 20 or 30% of the budget that they collect is simply for the purposes of collecting the other 60 or 70%. And so if you could get rid of half of that cost, that's an instant 20% tax cut to the people if they would give it back to the people and not just use it from some other program. Right. From there, we can start talking about how schools waste money, how, you know, all these other places do it. But I think one easy way to look at it is just simply from the perspective of how much money are we spending just to collect the money. I'd love to go down that road. Let's see here. Sign surge, moving water is very powerful. Yeah, I know it's powerful, but I don't live, I live at the top of the runoff. It would take Noah's Ark stuff to have that kind of water where I'm at. I mean, and we've had it coming out the pipe at the pond like a whitewater river. But what it would take to move that 16,000 pounds, we'd have a lot bigger problems than I didn't get a permit. Carrie Davis says they need to justify their jobs. Yep. And David says, doesn't the government print money? That's right, they do. They want not only the money they printed, they want all the money that I earned, even though money, you know, is kind of the land of make believe. And there's a whole other story behind that. But anyway, I will support any of this common sense stuff. Also, Kansas just said that they would like to increase minimum wage to $16 an hour, has been introduced in the state of Kansas. I had somebody on Facebook ask me if I agreed with this. I do not. I do not think we should be raising the minimum wage to $16 an hour. In fact, I will go a step further, and I'll tell you that we need to eliminate minimum wage altogether. It's another program to run. It's more extraction for us to run. And the very best thing we can do is let the free market take over. Let McDonald's and Burger King compete for the best employees, and the free market will work itself out if the government gets out of the way. Right? Free market, you know, people always bitch and moan about capitalism. But let me tell you something. If you got the government out of capitalism, it would work 100 times better than it works today. You can't have capitalism when they're picking winners and losers.
Right.
And so if they would just get out of the way, this problem would fix itself, in my opinion. Indiana Mike says the deciders need to come back down to earth. It is necessary or a luxury. Cut down on the luxury like the rest of the population. I agree. Yep, and Will Be Cool says, I agree, minimum wage is socialism. Will Be Cool, I don't know if I welcomed you in tonight, but if I didn't, welcome in. And if I did, welcome in twice. This was an interesting thing that happened this week in our county. So this week's county commissioner meeting was interesting. There was a lot of talk about holding constituents accountable through fines and persecution. That's prosecution, sorry. Supposed to be prosecution relating to building permits. At one point in the video, it sounds like Todd Luckman. For those of you guys who don't know, that is our county attorney. He says at the 225 mark, if I'm going to prosecute you, and this is him talking, and I've got a slam bang winner, then I'm going to get the penalty for fun. Now, this created quite the uproar around us here. Some county attorney who is not supposed to, is not a county commissioner. They're simply to guide them. Our taxpayer dollars are going to fund somebody that says that they'll get the penalty just for fun. And I think this is completely ridiculous. And I think this is a fight worth fighting. And I think we should do all that we can to make sure they know how we feel about this, which they will. But completely ridiculous in my opinion. Let's see here. Mo says minimum wages was one of the reasons 250 Walmarts closed in California. Yeah, I'm opposed to minimum wage on just pretty much every single front. David says, don't politicians work for corporations? They do. Well, not just corporations, but they definitely work for corporations. The minimum wage is increased in California to the point that certain service businesses are closing. The real minimum wage is always zero. Yeah, the government is a corporation. Well, it's a corporation in special interests, because there's some of that goes on too, which those, I guess you could kind of argue is a business too, because they're there to make money. Let's see here. So what are we going to do about it? I don't know if you guys know this or not, if I've told you this or not. We are having a town hall meeting. So on March the 4th, the commissioners are going to gather at a church, and we're going to bring all the people together from both sides, and we're going to have a town hall meeting, but ours is going to be a little bit different. Before I get there, let me tell you what a town hall meeting is for those of you who don't know, and this is just right off the internet. A town hall meeting is a public assembly typically organized by an elected official designed for direct interaction with the constituents. It serves as a forum where individuals can voice opinions, ask questions, and discuss public issues in a corporate context. A town hall meeting is a gathering where organizational leaders communicate directly with the employees, foster transparency, and open discussions. Overall, town hall meetings aim to enhance community engagement and facilitate dialogue between leaders and the public. Ours is different in that the county has nothing to do with it. We, the people, called the town hall meeting. So as this opens up, that it's typically organized by an elected official, this one is organized by the people. And I've just begun to advertise, and so we're going to kind of try to pack it in. This picture that I show you guys in here is a picture of a meeting. They were proposing to bring in a big solar farm, and we rallied the troops and went down, and it got so big they had to take it out of the meeting room and put it in the hallway so that they could house enough people, and so we hope to do that again. David wants to know, will the video be taped? Well, I'm actually considering live streaming it.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
While it's going on.
And people can ask questions? Or what?
I don't know if that's
That'd
the thing.
be really cool.
If somebody could monitor it for me, probably. But But I'm going to moderate. I'm going to moderate the meeting, so the questions are going to come to me. I'm going to read them to the commissioners and offer some feedback on some of the questions. The rebuttals, I believe, will come from the audience. I think we're still not 100% sure on all of this, because there's still a lot of planning, so I don't want to say too much and step on anybody else's toes. But I think that's probably the way it will go. My next meeting on it is tomorrow, and we'll get it all worked out. So I'd love to hear from you guys. If you guys would like me to live stream it, if you're interested in that at all, or if it would just be a boring, because it'll probably be a 3-hour live stream, right? If I do it.
Well, and I think too, if they could actually hear you, that would be awesome.
Well,
because a lot of times people can't hear when they're not sitting right there.
Yeah. So the difference is, like, when we go to the commissioners meetings, they don't have mics in front of their faces.
Right.
We're recording across the room. This will be one where we will put a mic right in front of their face, and it will all run to the same technology. And we have a media team that's working on the details. But I'm excited. I'm excited that I got nominated to be the moderator, and I'm excited to ask the questions. And I promise you guys this: I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to be mean. But there's not a single question that's off limits. I'm going to ask them. I'm going to ask them about the concrete. I'm going to ask them if it makes any sense. Is that a reason to regulate the people? You know, I mean, I'm going to ask them these questions, and we've got a whole team that's going to collect questions. We're going to collect them out of the audience. I have, so you guys know, I have reached out to both sides of the political parties and asked them to attend. And because I really think this is a great opportunity for the, commissioners, for our elected leaders to hear from the people. You know, we're never designed to be, kumbaya holding hands, but we should absolutely be able to stand up together and not, have to be ruled. And so I think there's a lot of common ground. It'll be interesting. We're going to be doing some polling coming up here pretty quick in my county to talk about what are the biggest concerns. And I'll tell you right now, I'll be surprised if 80% of it isn't property tax, both from the left and the right. So this is something we can all come together and agree on. And so I hope it works out good. I hope we get to pack it. I hope it's productive. But if you guys are interested in me live streaming it, again, I'd love to hear from you if it's something worth it to do, if you guys would watch it. Because anyway, I think it'll be pretty cool. So this is going to go on again on March the 4th. On February 1st, I walked into the county commissioner's office, and you can see it if you'd like on Citizen Broadcaster on YouTube. You can go see the video, but I walked in and served the commissioners and let them know.
She was recording you?
Oh, yep. She records all of them.
Oh, because it was during one of their meetings.
One of their meetings. I got on the agenda. I called a couple days before. I got on the agenda. I went in there and let them know that the people requested their appearance. And that was kind of the first step. So let's see here. Carrie Davis says, yes, please. Packrat says 100%. If you can hear the questions and the answers, it makes for a better experience if you can see closer shots of the official faces as they encounter and react to the questions of the people.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yep.
Closer cameras to them.
Yeah. Citizen Broadcaster, you hearing this? Because she'll be filming. Okay. Tag, sounds like you could be their biggest pain in the ass. Good for you. You know what? I probably will be, but it's not really my goal. I mean, what I want to do is make sure they hear the people. Because people are concerned, So, just because they want a new truck or they need a new grader, if, in my life, if I don't have the money to buy a new truck, I don't buy a new truck. Yeah. I live in my means. That's just the way it is. And you deal with it. And so I think hopefully we can find some unity, which would be my number one goal. To give the people an actual voice would be a huge goal. And we're not going to agree on everything, but I'm sure we can find things that we do. Let's see here. Packrat says, to comfort the afflicted, afflict the comfortable. There you go. She says, I am listening.
She was in here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I knew she was. We said hello to her earlier.
Oh, that's
You
right.
must have been trapped somewhere in managing your power.
I was thinking of rainbows.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, we got a meeting coming up tomorrow. We'll get some more details flushed out, but it will be on March the 4th at 7 p.m. Central Time. We already have it booked and all of that stuff. Now we're just working out the details. So if you're interested, March 4th, 7 p.m.
And that's plenty of time to get it on your calendars too.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe if we can get this thing broadcasted live, maybe what you guys can see is what real, constitutional republic looks like, right? This is not a democracy. And I think that's healthy. And then hopefully you guys can go, into your areas and organize and do the same things too. We don't have to wait for our deciders to schedule a meeting. We can go demand they attend, which is exactly what happened. And ironically enough, they all said, okay. Right, which tell you guys a funny story.
You'll see if they show up.
Yeah, well, they've already said on video they'll be there.
Right.
So I dare them not to. I dare them not to.
I feel
because I'm going to tell you, they agreed to show. If any one of them don't show, I will stand on stage and I will say they all agreed to show. They're not, such and such isn't here, and I hope you guys remember this at the ballot box in November. So that will be that, right? Let's see here. Test the audio prior. Remember the Jess and Joe thing? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The good news is I'm not in charge of audio or video, Mo. So we're in great hands with someone who understands it a lot better than me. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about it. Wanted to share something else with you guys. So we finally broke down, and after the hundreds of comments of how do we learn more about what's going on in the community and, the community days, we started a Facebook page couple days ago called Great Plains Homestead Happenings, so that we could put all of our events from our homesteads in. If you want to follow it, you can go there. You can check it out. It's actually growing pretty quick. It's almost 100 members, and it's just a few days old. But
Yeah, this week.
yeah, this week for sure. So I'm pretty excited about that. But that's where we'll post all of the flyers. I'll still post them on my lives and all that stuff. But this is where we'll post all the things that are going on, the things that people want to be public. Like if one of the homesteads wants their work day to be public and invite people they can, or whatever it is. It just makes my life a whole lot easier because I've answered the question, does your community have a website? And I tell people no a million times.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to have to manage a website. So I just built a simple Facebook page. And that picture is actually from, which is that? I think that is the July festival, right? With the fireworks and all that. Does that sound right? Or was that the fall one?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah.
It's not fall because fall
No.
had decorations.
Yep. I see
4th of July had
B and
decorations
Cindy and
too.
Adam and Sharpshooter and Mario, Tag, and Joe. Anyway. David, crack me up, says, nice. I'll join as soon as my Facebook ban is over. Yeah, you're in a very special club, David. And then also, they've got most everything worked out. The spring festival is April the 11th from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. You got anything you want to talk about on that? I know you're not on the planning crew, but
I'm not on the planning crew, but it looks like there is tons of bubble fun, and food is served at 4 p.m. and beef and chicken sliders. Bring a side dish to share. Please include a list of ingredients with your dish and name on it so that those with dietary restrictions can make informed choices. There's a raffle. Come have a seeds. Okay, so when I read this the first time, it says, come have a seed starting relay race. And I went, what is that? And it says, she goes, wait, what? What did it say? And I said, she goes, no, it's seed starting and a relay race. And I was like, oh, it's not a relay race of seed starting? And she goes, no. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't have to have a race about it. But
scavenger hunt.
what else does it say?
Scavenger hunt.
Yeah, scavenger hunt.
Karaoke.
Karaoke.
It says free table, bring what you don't need and take what you do.
Okay, so there's going to be no, not like not to take the table, but there will be a table that you can put your items that you want to get rid of on it. So like I have, 6 dozen eggs and I'm like, oh, I don't want these eggs. I'm going to take them and I can put them on the free table so that somebody else who's like, man, I really wish I could have some eggs can go and they could take what they want. So if you have items that you don't want to keep, I bought a pair of boots and I got a size 6.5 and I was like, oh, I'm going to wear these. And then I'm like, how in the world did I think I was going to fit into these? These aren't going to fit me. So I could put them on the free table and somebody can take them and use them for one of their kids. Or if their feet are baby.
Yeah, this went on at the last couple and it was really cool.
It worked out great.
Yeah, many people took many things home. Many people brought many things, so I like that. Hickshaw 54 wants to know, is your community center 100% complete? No. But it's missing some trim in some of the bathrooms, but all the toilets work, all the sinks work.
The
showers work, the tubs work.
The shower curtain doesn't stay up because the wall needs to be
I still got some little things to do, but it is 100% operational. So once we had the bathrooms in, that really was the game changer that made it a whole lot better. Because up until that point, we were just renting a porta potty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
All right, let's get rid of that one. All right. Well, we made it through the homestead stuff. That's pretty cool. You want to do some good news?
Sure.
Everybody excited about good news today? There's lots of it. I don't know if you guys have seen this article or not. I had not. A friend of mine here in Jackson County had posted this onto Facebook, and I wasn't even aware. But apparently, Wayfair was selling what looked to be storage units, stored like little storage sheds with very interesting names. So, and people did a little bit of research and found out they lined up with missing people. So in 2020, screenshots went viral showing extremely expensive cabinets and pillows listed on Wayfair with very specific first names, the same names people were finding in public missing children databases. According to the recent Epstein file dump, Jeffrey's assistant purchased unknown high-ticketed items. And now some people online are revisiting this and saying they believe this theory wasn't conspiracy at all, that it might have been true, and are trying to connect it to reports about the high-ticket purchases linked to the Epstein circle. And so they actually showed a picture of it. And like, if you look, see right there, babe?
Yeah.
It says her name, 5-shelf storage cabinet, and that's her, same name.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's absolutely crazy, some of the stuff that we're going through.
This is it said from 2020.
Yeah.
This story has been out there, but in the past.
I had not heard this before.
Yeah. It wasn't just storage units. It could be furniture, it could be other items. And yeah, they have names of specific ones that you're like, that's an interesting name of that.
Yeah, this is a point that I've gotten. I can't even tell you in how many arguments I've gotten with people over this. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you're a libertarian, if you're an anarchist. I don't care what you claim to be or what you put your faith on. If we can't stand behind the protection of innocence, I don't know what
Children?
else. Yeah, I mean,
Animals? Children?
Like, to me, I just don't get it. I don't see how people can defend a political party over this. The fact of the matter is that guy was arrested many years ago, and there have been Republican and Democrat presidents since, and they never did anything. And so how anybody could, I don't know how anybody could show any loyalty to any of them based upon this, but I won't get too deep in that because it'll get me in trouble. But anyway, the Western elites are used to stuff. Oh, this is Putin said that the Western elites are used to stuffing their bellies with human flesh and their pockets with money. The vampire's ball is coming to an end. Faye Valentine said, I've been like this for 5 minutes now, trying to process the fact that in the new Epstein files that there's an email where they say they tore babies apart and ate their intestines. I can't even imagine. I can't manage to have any kind of reaction because I don't know how you're supposed to react with something like that. Yeah, crazy. Shadow of Ezra says, Rep. James Conner says he will not bring Hillary Clinton into a public hearing to testify about her connections to Epstein. It says that the closed-door deposition will be made public, though, with audio, video, and transcript. This just allows them to edit it, right? But what I found interesting is then not long after that, Eric Doherty put a tweet out that said the Trump FBI has just arrested a key actor behind the 2012 Benghazi attack in Libya, leaving 4 Americans dead. Pam Bondi said Hillary Clinton famously said, "What difference does it make?" I know you guys remember that. This is huge. So maybe the reason they want Hillary to testify has nothing to do with Epstein. Maybe it has to do with Benghazi. Not really sure. You guys remember I was just talking about how I don't know how you can have loyalty to any party who hides for any reason this type of behavior. Trump said Epstein files were a Democratic hoax. And remember, Kash Patel said not long ago there was nothing there. There was no credible evidence. Well, here's some of the actual emails that came out of that stuff, which I find just absolutely horrific. And what's funny, if you guys look really close, it's funny how sometimes the most powerful thing is what's not said. And so if you look, what's been redacted out of these is who was involved besides Epstein. So you see, like, the Epstein was on the email, right? And simply just says the new Brazilian just arrived, sex and very cute, 9 years old. How is protecting these people a matter of national security? I don't get it. Like, I don't see how it's the case. They replied to Jeffrey Epstein, "Thank you for the fun night. The littlest girl was pretty naughty." Crazy. There was a bunch of stories came out about Bill Gates this week about how he got an STD from a Russian and then was trying to come up with antibiotics to treat his wife so that, you know, the cat wasn't out of the bag. And this is actually part of that email. To add insult to injury, to them implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD. Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you can supertentiously give Melinda, and the description of your private part. You also made it clear to me that I am not to refer to blank, as that is another topic that must remain between the two of us. You know, guys, I'm going to tell you something. It is so hard today to find truth. I can't prove to you these were actually in the emails.
Right.
I can't. And I can find lots of articles about them. I can do my best to source them. But the truth is, I can't tell you this. But this is what, if you look at all of the information together, this is what I know, is that they've been dropping these breadcrumbs. It's been going on for a long, long time. There is, people who went to jail, Epstein himself, who later killed himself. Why would they put him in jail, and why would he kill himself if there was nothing there? Right? Ghislaine Maxwell, she went to prison for it. And then all of a sudden, you've got people like Kash Patel saying that there's no credible evidence. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Didn't she get out?
No, she got moved from a high security prison to more of a hotel type prison, where she's living a little bit of better days. Let me get to some comments here. David said, lock her up. Yep. Years ago on eBay, people were selling chicken nuggets for thousands of dollars, supposedly human trafficking. Gross. G-Dog says, if someone hasn't done this, meme generator that fills in the redactments with realistic words. Look at the from and to on the Epstein email sent it to himself. Yes. So actually he said that. He said that and this is what Gates says too, is that this was an email that never got to him, that he had just sent to himself. But again, this is why I'm saying I don't know. I do not know what's true and what's not true. And everything I'm going to share with you guys tonight, and every single night, I can't guarantee you the truth of any of it. It's becoming hard to understand the truth. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a distraction. I don't know what it is. But what I do know is, if any of it's true, let me say it differently. If there is even a tiny hint that any of it's true, we should be spending our time and our energy and our resources trying to figure out what happened, and trying to persecute those who are guilty and try to give closure to those who are innocent. We shouldn't be, building ballrooms. Sorry. Just priorities should be priorities. And instead of worrying about naming airports after ourselves, why don't we go get some, closure to these victims? That's what I think. Bill Gates' email was a hot garbage distraction. There is no way a multi-billionaire couldn't source antibiotics. That's fair. Mm-hmm. Gates' email was a draft in Epstein's account. Mo says, it is as if they were so close they both had passwords to access the account. Right, which is, if you guys remember when General Flynn, that's what ultimately got him busted, because him and his mistress had an email account they shared, and because they both had the password, they could type messages to each other, save them as drafts, and the other one would read them. They'd never have to send them. And so what Mo is saying is here, this also could have been a case of a shared account. And I don't know. G-Dog says, potential meaning, Epstein was contemplating blackmailing Gates. What if the point of all of this is to emotionally agitate us? You know what? There's a lot to that, David, right? And I guarantee you they'd rather have a civil war than a revolutionary war, right? They'd come out of that a lot better.
Well, yeah, because you're fighting each other and not fighting them.
That's right. In my opinion, they are distracting from the little war getting ready to start in the sandbox. And boy, is it getting ready to start, isn't it, Gary? I think it's just I think they get us bouncing from one catastrophe to the other. And I might be a little bit sensitive to all of this, but I think the brutality of our innocence, if any piece of the Epstein story is true, if any, I don't care what political party you're from, if you protected it in any way, if you hid the names in any way, I have no use for you. And you're a traitor to this country, in my opinion. This was a very interesting thing. I don't know if you guys read this, and I don't know that I believe this, but I'll share it with you anyway. Charlie Kirk was about to prove Epstein was alive and living in Israel. Charlie Kirk uncovered one secret no American political figure has ever supposed to see. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't dead, not even close. He was quietly exfiltrated from his Manhattan cell and flown to Israel. And what's interesting is Alex Jones was pointing out, who picked up this story, there's a picture of Epstein with his shirt off, and he's got like a tribal tattoo around his arm right here, babe.
Mm-hmm.
And then they showed a picture of him after he hung himself right here, and there's no tattoo on the arm. And then pictures had begun to emerge from other places, and I think I put one in here, right here, yep. That top picture right there, closest to B and I, of a guy in a beard that looks awful like you. Now, B made an interesting comment. We were looking at this earlier.
Yeah,
What'd
you
you
were
say?
looking at it compared to one of his other pictures. The ear's different.
Yeah. So
His
B,
earlobe.
yeah. So B's saying that the ears are different. It's not the same person.
But this guy is different, yeah.
Yeah. U.S. Representative Thomas Massie exposed on the American Senate over the Epstein cover-up. Don't F this bill up. If you are, you're part of the cover-up. Anyone who went to Rape Island needs to be behind bars, even the billionaires. And this is something I 100% agree with. No matter where you come from, you don't, yeah, it's like the worst of all crimes, in my opinion, Yeah, David says question everything. I think that's right. I think we have to question everything. Packrat said American citizens being urged by the State Department to leave Iran. Now, Xi Jinping in China is urging Chinese residents to leave Iran right now. I think the one thing about Trump being involved in it that I really have a hard time buying, and you guys know I've been hard on Trump. There's a lot of things I don't like about the guy. But one thing that's never made sense to me is if they had all of this evidence, because they had all of this evidence, these files, these Epstein files, have not just shown up once Trump's been elected, right? Biden had them too. If they had anything on Trump, I'm sure it would have come out prior to him getting elected again. They would have used it then, right?
Yeah.
What would be the advantage of waiting till now? I'd love to hear some theories, but I have a hard time believing he has anything to do with it, just simply on that fact alone. Not because I don't think, not for any other reason, just why did they not use it then? Because they could have really swung the election in Kamala's favor, unless it's seriously just a point of it's the Republicans' turn and, to win. And
Right.
so that, which I buy. Jenny, how are you? Says, why does everyone believe the government all of a sudden? Did everyone forget the lie? How are we to believe these are legit? Yeah, Jenny, I think that's exactly the point, right? I don't know. This is why I just got done saying, I would question absolutely everything. These are stories that are floating out there. Again, I don't, like I was saying, the story about Epstein being alive. I don't really think I believe that, but I do find it fascinating.
I would believe that he was alive.
You would?
Yeah. I don't think that's him though.
Yep, I don't know. Don't know. You would think though that would be pretty hard to hide his face,
Yeah. I mean, especially when there's so many masks out now that they could just totally change the way that somebody looks with just a silicone mask.
Yeah.
Although it's super easy just to have a facial hair, right?
Yeah.
Put on some glasses and you can just walk around without.
Yeah, I think, Jenny, a further point to your point is I think we pretty much have to go on the case that they're lying all the time.
Oh yeah.
And then what we're trying to do is find all the little bits and pieces and put it together. Right? Because it's hard, man. Discernment's such a tough thing these days. They didn't go after any other Republican either. Maybe there are powerful Dems too, and it's a mutually assured destruction. Maybe. Yeah. And G-Dog says, looks like Jeff Bridges. And Jenny says, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to find discernment in it all, because again, it's so hard. Hey, RN, welcome in. Good to see you. Yep, Nito says, and who knows that plastic surgery wasn't implemented, right? Mm-hmm. Who knows anything, right? It is so hard. Who shot JR? Which JR?
I think he's talking about like the soap opera from a long time ago.
Oh, is that what she's talking about? I never watched soap operas.
Well, it was one of those like the Texas people from back in the day.
They mix the truth with lies for maximum confusion. Confusion is a primary modality of mind manipulation. Oh, Dallas. Some people knew what you were talking about.
Nighttime soap opera.
Yeah, I never watched soap operas. That stuff turned on the TV at my house when I was young. I ran to go outside and get me some electrical tape and some sticks. I'm making a gun.
Yeah.
Or building a fort. I didn't want nothing to do with that kind of stuff. Nothing. Some really cool stuff. I actually think good news. Just in, Florida's First Lady, Casey DeSantis, says some bread tested by the state showed elevated levels of glyphosate.
No, you don't say.
Yeah, you don't say. The main ingredient in Roundup, stressing it's weed killer not to be eaten and warning it should be kept away from children. Dr. Joseph Ladapo warns that glyphosate, the weed killer found in some breads, may weaken the blood-brain barrier, affecting a brain's protection. He notes links to gut issues like leaky gut. There seems to be some relationship with glyphosate exposure and leaky gut. And then I went and looked at the actual list of them, and the one with the worst rating of all of them was Nature's Own.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Oh yeah, Nature's Own. But very close second was Wonder Bread. And so yeah, G-Dog, glyphosate in news. I know I was a little shocked too, but Florida's really
Wait,
kind
they
of
have Dave's killer bread. That's the expensive bread.
yeah, and that had glyphosate in them. Sara Lee didn't, and Pepperidge Farms didn't. All the rest of the ones that they tested, which was Nature's Own.
Yeah, but Sara Lee Honey Wheat did. It was Sara Lee Artisan White that did
That
not.
did not. Right. What I was saying is Florida is really kind of leading the way in a lot of ways from a lot of the stuff. I quote them a whole bunch of times in the live tonight. Yeah, well, there you go. Did and didn't. Yeah. But I'm really proud of a lot of the stuff that Florida's doing, bringing some of this stuff to light. You guys should take warning of this. And again, assuming it's true, right? I wasn't
Right.
there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that it's true.
I can't believe any of that.
I wouldn't buy Wonder Bread or any of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
My stomach has used to bother me a lot
Yeah.
when I was eating the breads and such. I mean, you can put the hamburger buns in your pantry, and they still look exactly the same like 4 months later.
yeah. So Jenny says, does it say only the white or the wheat? Yeah. So the Sara Lee Honey Wheat had 191 parts
Per billion.
of glyphosate, when the Sara Lee White had none.
Artisan White.
Yeah, and I think and she's talking about the Nature's Own brand. Okay, so the Nature's Own butter bread had 190 parts, and the Nature's Own perfectly crafted white had 132. Let me see here. I'm so Sara Lee white bread now. Yeah. Let's see here. The manufacturer is going state to state trying to get legislators to exempt them from liability when the farmers who use to spray it get mortally ill. Yep, glyphosate's a weed killer that some people use that on the hay, and the cows eat the hay. This is why when you go buy hay for your animals, and we do this, who sells it to us matters 100%. And if that's the first question we're going to ask is, do you spray? What do you put on it on your hay? And so we've got a couple really good farmers up here who don't use anything, and that's who we get our stuff from. Now that doesn't 100% protect you though, because there's still planes that fly over, there's still all that kind of stuff, but it'll minimize it for sure. Nito says, I went to the website. They have testing on formula in candy. Also, I know I'm going to share it too. Yep. Helen Happy Harvest, hello, said all breads have glyphosate. Also,
Yeah.
did they only test these 8? Only once? A lot of open questions. Yep. Yeah, JD says, whew, I have the 100% wheat one. Never again, though. Yeah, Carrie Davis said, allegedly, we have freedom. Well, you do. You have freedom to choose between all of these breads.
Or make your own.
Yeah, this is just a more complex version of our political system, right? Eventually, they'll
Yeah.
just get down to 2 breads that are government stamped approved, that you know are safe, and you can bank on it, and then everyone will be eating the same bread.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Huge story developing as Las Vegas Biolab. I don't know why this is not the biggest story going on in the nation right now. Well, probably because of the Epstein or all that stuff, right? Huge story developing. A quiet Las Vegas home was raided this week, uncovering a secret lab in the garage filled with over 1,000 virals of high-risk biological materials. Investigators found genetically engineered transgenic mice designed specifically to carry and transmit COVID-19. I question how they know that. Anyway, the pathogens, virals, were labeled with some of the world's deadliest diseases to include Ebola, malaria, HIV, and hepatitis.
Good grief.
The CCP, so China's lab, is tied to the Jia Bizhu, a wanted fugitive and PRC citizen who received millions of unexpected payments from Chinese banks while operating these illegal facilities. They found the samples, they found the engineered mice, they found the money trail. So, and this happened again. If you guys remember, there was one in California not too long ago that was also run by China. This is just the second bust. But, you know, warfare, I think the days of warfare being fought with tanks are coming to an end fast. You know, it's going to be fought here. You know, we've run many stories here on the lives about them weaponizing ticks, for example.
Yeah.
Right? In a bombshell revelation, a jaw-dropping disclosure, Brian Hooker, chief scientific officer of the Children's Health Defense, testifies at a Senate hearing that doctors received insurer bonuses such as up to $40,000 from Blue Cross and Blue Shield for vaccinating 63% of their patients or more. Right? This woman had a recent snow in Texas, had the snow tested, and these were the results. Now, before I go into these results, I can't verify this was snow tested. I can't verify she tested them. I can't verify any of it. But I thought it was interesting enough to share. But it showed high levels of aluminum, barium, strontium, lead, mercury, sulfur compounds, and nitrates. That sounds good.
Are those all just naturally occurring rain
No.
type of materials?
And this is why all food would have some contaminants in it, right? Because how do you hide from that?
Right.
You know, if it's truly going on, right? I really, to this page, I think the big things that the Chinese lab, again, assuming that it's true, right?
Right.
I mean, because
Because
see here.
you can find both informations on the internet.
Mo says choose your poison. Lisa says glyphosate is in the rain, rivers, and us and our brains. I assume it's in everything. Indiana Mike says bread and circuses. Literally, right? Let's see here. DDT used to be considered safe. Go figure. Yeah, there was something to Stan Guthrie. What was that? I don't know where it's at. Okay. Let's see here. Brett Boyd says, good evening. Guess it's the time to start baking. Right. Well, I think the more, guys, we take control of our own, the more we stay focused and not distracted, right, by all of this. I think the better we do that, the better anyway. You should be breaking your bread if you can. You should be doing as much of it for yourself as you can. You should be producing your own energy, your own water, doing everything you can because it absolutely minimizes the fronts of attack either way, right? And instead of getting caught up in Sara Lee or Wonder, just make your own bread or do what we do. We have a homesteader who's a great bread maker and we get all our bread from them. And then B don't have to make it and we get great bread. We get to control what goes in it, which is super, super cool. It looks like a canary. That garage looked cleaned out prior to it being found, less what they wanted found. No clean room suits, pressurized rooms, destruction means, etc. Yeah, and this brings up a good point. Again, we cannot determine anymore what's real and what's not in a lot of ways. This could absolutely be a setup so that then they can release the next pandemic so that they can blame the Chinese.
Somebody else. Right.
Right? I mean, you got to think on like this 6D chess game and try to stay in front of it all the time, which is, pretty hard. Let's see here. Jenny says, I think she was out of Denton. Oh, the lady that had it tested, you think? Yeah, G-Dog says, need a baseline in order to compare. What are the levels in the Arctic? I don't know, but G-Dog and Miss, help me, educate me. Is aluminum ever found in rainwater?
Yeah. Is that normal?
Yeah, which of these chemicals would be normally found in them? Let's see here. Doctors confirm. I found this super, super fascinating. Doctors confirm first ever human cancer caused by tapeworm cells, not human DNA. Scientists have confirmed a medical first. A man developed events of cancer that came from tapeworm cells instead of his own body. The patient was a 41-year-old man living with HIV. He was found to have tumors in his lungs, liver, and lymph nodes. At first, doctors believed it was normal human cancer. However, advanced DNA testing revealed something shocking. The cancer cells were not human. They matched the genetics of the tapeworm, which is a common dwarf tapeworm. Researchers concluded that the parasite itself developed cancer, and those cancerous tapeworm cells spread through the man's body. And the source for this is the New England Journal of Medicine. So, yeah. Oh, wait, the story gets deeper, more conspiratorial. You'll love this because you're kind of a conspiracy theorist. So I started doing some digging. I don't know if you guys know this. I spend all day putting this live together. And so one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search to see if I can find another source.
You got 10 minutes.
Right.
Talk fast.
I'm working on it. See if I can find another source. And so I Googled, and on November 4th of 2015, I found from the CDC's website that says CDC researchers link cancer cells from parasite to human tumors. And then it says that this page is only archived and that they're not talking about it anymore. But for the theory of everything to talk about the first ever human cancer caused by tapeworm, and way back 10 years ago, 11 years ago, CDC had a paper that linked cancer cells from parasites in human tumors. Scientists at the Center of Disease Control and Prevention have discovered cancer cells originating from the common tapeworm may take root in people with weakened immune systems, which would explain how the guy with HIV got it, right? Causing cancer-like tumors. It is the first known case of a person becoming ill from a cancer cells that arose from a parasite. I just found it interesting that the one news article said this is the first ever case.
Yeah.
And it did not take me hardly any time to track it down on the CDC's website.
From 2015.
From 2015. So kind of contradictory information, but kind of the same information. I find it super interesting. Let me see here. Or was it 20 years ago? What was 20 years ago? Well,
the research for cancers linked to parasites saying that it wasn't.
Yeah, well, the article's dated from the CDC is dated 2015. The one, the guy with HIV that got it, I pulled it yesterday at 3:01 p.m. So, again, I'm not saying anything's true. This could all just be in an effort to get us to buy ivermectin. I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
Brett says, find grains that are not from GMO seed, old school, that will die when spared with glyphosate. Yeah. Hey, Edward, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. The water, air, not this story. The water, air. Oh. Or was that 20 years ago? Yeah, I have no idea, Mo. I have such a hard time even understanding anymore. Let's see here. Interesting warning. Department of Homeland Security warns of increasing trend in domestic partner poisonings. What'd you put in my dinner? Yo.
Boop.
Yeah. So watch out. Significant others poisoning their partners is increasing.
It's crazy.
Yeah. In tomorrow's news, NIH confirms staff are infected with Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. So apparently there's a couple cases of that now. What else? Florida. Here's some more great Florida stuff, right? Florida Surgeon General Joe Ladapo says it's BS the way we can't grow food without poisoning people. It's a complete bollocks. There is an alternative to poisoning people, and it is possible to grow food in a sustainable way that doesn't involve folks ingesting stuff that makes them sick. So please, when people say that, know that it's complete nonsense. For hundreds of years, we managed to feed people on this planet without doing it. And this idea that it's inevitable is just plain nonsense. He goes on to say that he was shocked to find out how much arsenic they're able to fit in candies like Nerds and Jolly Ranchers. And he went on to say this: if it's a color that doesn't exist in nature, you probably shouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
University of Nebraska took 1/4 pound patties that was headed to McDonald's from a big processing plant and ran some tests on it. They discovered over 1,300 different strains of DNA were found in 1/4 pound patty. Something you might consider next time you're buying beef. Well, there's so many in all of this stuff. First
That's a big vat.
Yeah, you shouldn't be eating Nerds and Jolly Ranchers. That's the one thing that I took out of this. The world is waking up that we can be sustainable. That's something to be celebrated. Don't piss your wife off because she might poison you.
Or
And
partner.
buy your beef from a farmer. Go directly to the source.
The closer you can,
right?
the
Go
better.
direct to the source and go and investigate and, and walk around and see how the cows are raised. I'm telling you, you'll like it so much better. Is it going to be cheaper? No. Does going to the farmer save you money? Not really. Okay, but what you get is good food, right? And it's like people who always talk to me about solar, about when's your break even point? I don't care. I didn't do it for some financial reason, right? I did it so that I could insulate myself, which is the same reason why I'm raising my own cows, which is the same reason I have my own eggs and my own water and all of those kind of things. And so just go directly to the farmer, go directly to the producer. Find another homestead that will make you bread or ice cream, and in turn you make the cheese, whatever it is. But we've got to figure out a way to become less dependent on the system. Let's see here. G-Dog says, we'll start with Brett. Ivermectin will take care of worms. Been using it for 45 years. G-Dog said, I'm crossing tapeworms off my bucket list. Don't need no cancer. Yep. Someone getting white Wonder Bread tomorrow. Yeah. Damn, I have to give up my Smarties, says Brett Boyd. David says, yikes. Community for the win. And Brett Boyd says, eat more deer. We got some time for some more slides. Let's see here. Teacher turned cognitive scientist shared a disturbing reality that left the room stunned. Our kids are less cognitively capable than we were at their age. Every precious generation outperformed its parents since we began recording in the late 1800s. So what happened? Screens. Dr. Jared Horthoth explained, Gen Z is the first generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention to memory to literacy to executive functioning, even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did. So why? The answer appears to be the tools we are using within the schools. It's the screens. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
We've always, I think for generations, we've always said, that we want to provide our kids a better life than we had.
Yep.
Right. And that's been going on for a long, 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 long time. And now we farm our kids off to be raised by some school somewhere, right? Instead of actually raising them at home, which I think is super sad. Lisa says, yes, going to the farmers does save you money on doctor's bills. Great point, Lisa. Lisa, great point. Edward says, I took ivermectin and fenbendazole for 3 months, skipped a month, and took it another month. I ordered a pure Fenben from the lab direct. After the 3rd month, I started seeing pinhead-size scabs in certain areas of my skin where something was trying to escape. Feel a lot better now. Wow. Wow. Let's see here. This is from Maha. So RFK said that people can lose their bipolar disorder and can cure epilepsy just by changing the diet. American food is not only affecting people's physical health, it's affecting their mental health. We're telling people to eat real food, eat protein. Let's see here. G-Dog says, that's okay. My kids are having bots do their work for them. Mm-hmm. Right. This means millennials are the smartest generation. That is actually kind of what that means. That's just simple math.
Yeah.
If they got better until this, until the generation we're on now, that would mean that the pinnacle of it was millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am very proud to be Gen X because we were the abandoned generation and I like it that way. This is probably why I'm the rebel I am, right? Let's see. We got maybe time for one more. It's too bad. I had a lot of really good ones this week. Let's see. The World Health Organization just ran a full-scale simulation for the next pandemic and 31 different governments went along. So they're running drills. And if you remember back during COVID, just before COVID came out, the World Health Organization ran some drills. Lab-grown life takes a major step forward as scientists use AI to create viruses that have never been seen. That's the headline from the Daily Mail. Let that sink in. A researcher at a private company doing his work told the Daily News, for at least 4 billion years, all life on Earth has evolved by trial and error process of Darwinian evolution by natural selection, which lacks any foresight or intention. Natural evolution now has a co-author, and it's people, it's humans. How could that go wrong? Right, that could never go wrong.
Humans.
Florida health officials pulled 25 baby formulas off the store shelf to test for heavy metals. 70% failed: arsenic, lead, and mercury. If food for babies can be this contaminated and still get sold, the system meant to protect us is a lie. And I think I will leave you guys with this last piece of news. Chinese firms buying U.S. schools. 240 plus spring education group backed by nationalist CEO, not-for-profit, aim to infuse Chinese Communist Party ideology and communism into American classrooms. This was Fox reporting, but does that mean it's true? Nope. Nope. Is this just a way to get us to hate the Chinese because we know that by 2030 we will be in war with them? Mm-hmm. Which is our own government's estimate, by the way, just so you guys know. That's their number, not my number, right? I could go on and go on and go on, but because it's 2 hours, we're going to get out of here tonight. But before we get out of here, let's get B back up here because B is going to have some really smart shit to say on our way out. No?
No. I was just going to say don't get distracted because that kind of kept coming up over and over again as far as, trying to live sustainably, trying to produce your own food, trying to get involved locally, trying to make a difference, change where you can. Don't get distracted by the uncontrollables.
Yeah, I think that the kind of add to all of that, let's assume that everything I read tonight was a false. That means the outcome's even worse. If none of it is true, then what does that really mean? Right? And so I think I agree with B. Don't get distracted, right? Figure out how to become energy independent. Figure out how to become water independent. Figure out how to produce more and more of your food. Don't walk out the door and say, I got to go grow all my own food, because you'll fail at that mission. Can you grow more food this year than you grew last year? And if the answer is the yes, then you're headed absolutely in the right direction. Energy, water, food, knowledge is another big one. Learn. And I'm going to tell you something. You can only read so much from a book. Get out there. Go make friends with farmers. Go make friends with homesteaders if you're not one already. If you are a homestead, welcome people making friends with you. Learn together, and that's a much better and more effective way, right, to go out there and learn. But if we don't lessen our dependency on the system, we're going to continue to be a slave to it. Yeah. And unfortunately, guys, most people are just asleep at the wheel and they won't stand up. I'm in the fight every day of trying to figure out how to create a place of freedom. And 90% of my fight aren't with the deciders. It's getting the people to stand up on their own 2 feet. And that's the unfortunate part, right? So don't get distracted by it all. Stay true. Stay on the path. And if we do that together, I think that we can all be proud of the efforts that we had, regardless of the outcome. You agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tag out. See you guys in a week.